What's going on, people? Welcome to Live Palace News. It is very early on in the day, but it's only right to do it because there is breaking news. As you can see from the headline, Crystal Palace have agreed a £35 million deal for Brennan Johnson, the Tottenham winger. We'll be discussing that and whether it would happen, because there is a bit of a twisted story despite coming from reputable sources. But as always, if you do enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button as well as subscribing and get involved. Even if you're watching on replay, in the comment section down below. AJ, how you doing, man? Have you been enjoying your break, holidays? We spoke about it,
Yes.
but like both of us,
Yeah.
haven't really had a break.
It's been a nice Christmas, man. Catching up with family, spending time with my little ones. It's been good, man. It's been good times, man.
Yeah. And with Palace, I mean, it's been non-stop, and we know what we've needed, another forward. And Brennan Johnson has been lingering about for the past few weeks. Well, a couple of weeks, not that long, to be fair. But it seems like Palace have been in discussion for longer than what the media has known about. However, there is good news in regards to that. According to David Ornstein and various other reputable sources, but Ornstein is my favorite one anyways. He's saying Crystal Palace have reached an agreement with Tottenham Hotspur over a deal to sign Brennan Johnson, fee approaching £35 million in place, and clubs keen to proceed. But Tottenham winger still to decide, and that is the main twist. AJ, just first of all, let's start off with your thoughts on Brennan Johnson as a player. Do you think he's the kind of profile that we need in this squad?
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be my first choice, I'll be honest. But the boy, what was he? Tottenham's best performer last season. He's got a lot of talent. He's still quite young. We're not gonna absolutely decimate the bank. He's a good player, man. Let's be honest, man. And let's not pretend he doesn't improve our team. He does. He does seem like a bit more of a winger. That's the bit I'm a little bit torn about. But then, you know what? It goes down to, having a statement intent and making sure that we're making the manager as happy as we possibly can be. And I think for me, it's the case of the fact we're doing it so early in the window as well. Well, before the window even starts. It's something I'm not quite used to. So I like it. It's definitely one that I'm actually pretty impressed with, to be fair, if we manage to pull it off. And obviously, it's going to be down to his choice. I'm not too sure what the competition is in terms of the kind of current teams that are going to be interested in him. But for me, I like it, man. I'm hoping that this one gets pulled off early, man, and we can keep moving and pushing and bolstering the squad, because he's the kind of player that we need. And more importantly, the squad needs strengthening as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, it does. And my thoughts on it is that he's Premier League proven. He's done it at Forest, done it at Tottenham. He's a clinical goal scorer. So people that's saying that he's just like, he just has pace and nothing else is baffling, because we'll go through stats. Has pace, which is important. Provides depth. Scored 18 goals for Tottenham last year. So I don't know where people are getting the Smith that he just has a pace and can't score any goals. He's a clinical goal scorer. The only thing about him that I would say is that I think he suits his system perfectly in terms of what you want. He a player that can run in behind, a player that is very good in front of goal. However, on the ball, I don't think he's the most exciting of players. He's not terrible. He's not bad. But I think for that money, you could do better on the ball in terms of, beating players one-on-one and be more of a threat. However, off the ball and what he can do in front of goal, which is what we've been talking about for the past month or so, and providing depth, he ticks the boxes. I don't know what else you really want from a player, well, apart from the dribbling element and being more of a threat on the ball. But yeah, he's I mean, he scored for Tottenham, I think, in the Europa League final as well. Last season, as I said, 18 goals, 4 assists. And he was also decent at Forest as well before he joined Tottenham. And this will be a player, most importantly, that has proven, he's got Premier League experience, that could also do in the Premier League. He scored 11 goals in the Premier League in 33 appearances. And we're talking about under a manager like Oliver Glasner that has already improved players. going forward. So there's nothing in regards to the player profile. I think the player profile fits us perfectly, and we'll go into other questions in regards to that. The only thing that I do have question marks over is the price tag. But then again, I think I have question marks because he will be our record signing. Around the fee will be approaching £35 million. I think when it comes to transfer fees, I don't think the journalists, even the Ornsteins and stuff, he says approaching £35 million. I don't know if they know exactly how much it's going to be. So I think that will be figured out over time. But it will be our record transfer signing. And, you know, it's just the element on the ball. If Glazer was to leave, for example, I don't know how he would be as a winger. But to me, he ticks far too many boxes and definitely improves the squad depth, which is what I'm looking for. So if we have money to go and spend money elsewhere on top of spending £35 million, it's not my money. I mean, we've been screaming out for money. There's people, I don't know what you think about AJ, but there's people that's wanted depth and now crying about the money. I don't want to be that guy. Do you get it?
Nah, you know, you've kind of hit it on the head, like with the.
And he's a clinical goal scorer. There are Tottenham fans that are happy that he's leaving, but there's also some Tottenham fans that are upset because they need to sign a replacement. He is their best goal scorer. I mean, that Tottenham side is lacking scorers in their side. And for one reason or another, it seems like Thomas Frank doesn't rate him as much. And this is an opportunity which Palace are willing to take. And I'm willing to take the gamble. We don't need to go. If you want to bring players that are proven at a top level, then you're gonna have to pay a bit extra. I mean, Eddie didn't work out, but I don't think Eddie was proven at Arsenal. I think that was more of a gamble if you're looking at both of them. But yeah, I mean, I spoke to Tobes from the Big Six. We sent a voice note, and he's happy about him leaving. Some Tottenham fans are saying they could have demanded a bit more money. And in terms of what excited me the most is what I exactly thought about him. You know, he said that he's a clinical goal scorer. He can run in behind and be a threat in that regard. So yeah, I'm happy with that element. But price tag, £35 million. What's your thoughts on that?
It's a lot, but then are we doing the whole thing where we need to spend money before the rules change in the summer? Because we do know that's the thing. I think a lot of people are trying to put this bench squad player label to it. I don't think that's fair. Because from my understanding is I think it's Kudos that keeps him out of the squad as it stands right now. And at the end of the day, Tottenham aren't exactly in the best of form right about now, and then even in the best of places right now. If anything, Brennan Johnson, based on the league table, is upgrading. Controversial opinion, yeah, who cares? Still what I like. But he's a quality player, man. Let's not pretend like Welsh international, tore it up last season. He's got European experience. He's got international experience. Players like that come at a premium. He's Premier League. He's British. Let's not be silly here. Yes, it is a lot of money, but I don't know what the transfer budget is. You don't know what the transfer budget. Nobody realistically, apart from those ones in the club's hierarchy, is going to even know what kind of numbers that is. And I think it'd be very, very naive for that to be leaked information out there for other football clubs to understand or know what we're up to. So I'm not even trying to entertain that. At the end of the day, you're paying for what you're expecting, and you're paying for that type of quality in a player. But at the end of the day, if he comes in and bangs 10 goals and helps us finish in the top half and go on and progress in the cups and Europe, you're not going to care about that £35 million. Like, nobody's going to care about that. So I'm not entertaining the money aspect of it. For me, I think it's just one of those things where we just let him come through. Let's make sure it's official first. Let's make sure he's actually going to come through the door. Once he's through the door, I'll back him in a Palace shirt like I back any other Palace player, to be fair. Let's just see what else we do in the summer as well, in the winter period, i.e. January. Because if this is the way we're getting things started, you will have every right to be excited and see how it plays out.
Yeah. And of course, there is that twist to the end of that story where he still is yet to decide. And the only thing that I'm worried about in that regard is that Bournemouth are also interested, as well as Everton. Everton, I'm not concerned about, with all due respect. It's just Bournemouth with Semenyo leaving. They'll have the money to spend, and two, could they offer more financially to try attract him, and could that be a battle in terms of personal terms for Brennan Johnson? But I guess when you're looking at the timing of this as well, the fact that we agreed a record transfer fee, I mean, is agreed in principle, is up to Brennan Johnson now before the January windows open. I guess that's the intent that we want to show Oliver Glasner as well after the summer window, which you spoke about wasn't good enough. It looked like a shambles. And now that we've got a sporting director, Matt Hobbs, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what we can do in the window if we're going to start off like this. I'm not expecting us to go spend £35 million on the right wing back and, you know, all other positions, but it seems like we are operating how a Premier League club should. You know, in the summer, it was baffling. It was truly baffling. Igor, Julio be mentioned, Gay be mentioned, to be leaving the club on the last day, and it just seemed like a shambles. We lost Eze very late on in the window. Yeremy Pino did end up joining us, of course, but it wasn't, you know, directly happening straight away. Just, yeah, it was a bit baffling. But I guess that's the positive, you know. If we're going to start off the window like this, hopefully we continue it, because there's other positions as well. But do you think Brennan Johnson to Bournemouth could be a worry for us?
Possibly. Obviously, they're getting this whole Semenyo saga sort of wrapped up pretty early. Yeah, that's pretty much as good as done, isn't it? But at the same time, Bournemouth do seem to be losing quite a lot of players. I think there was a couple of other players that are linked with news where apparently one of their defenders is due to leave in the summer. I know, ironically, that's the same as us. Bournemouth, I feel like we've got a little bit more to offer. I think if he's ambitious, obviously World Cup's come in. Although I don't even know, did Wales even qualify for the World Cup? I can't even remember. But, you know, you've got World Cup come in. Anyway, so that's neither here or there. We're on a bit more of a slightly upward trajectory than what Bournemouth are at. And I would not even debate. We are the bigger club in this certain equation, but it depends what he wants. Is he fussed, but is he driven by money, ambition, projects? You also got to understand that, does he know if the manager's even going to be here in the summer as well? Because we can't let that one sort of mentally slip away from us as well. I just think for me, it's just a case of just getting in as many players as we possibly can, just to battle the exhaustion and battle the burnout that is clearly something we're suffering from. And more importantly, start getting some goddamn shots converted as well, because we've been a victim of the statistic. I'm not a big fan of XG, but it's something that obviously we're creating a ton of chances and we're not just putting them away. And Brennan Johnson is the kind of player that is capable of doing that. So I'm just hoping we can give him the right projects and give him the right ideas. And, you know, that would be a statement of intent to be able to beat, let's what we call it, league rivals in terms of where we're placing, to be able to just get more players through the door and get him through the door. And it just goes to show from the club, there will be a statement of intent. And hopefully that will make Glasner happy in the long term. And then obviously come summer, we've got something to work with in terms of negotiating with him as well. But Bournemouth, I think we're a bigger club. It is what it is.
Yeah, and also we can offer European football. So yeah, I think on the pitch, it would be a better project anyways. It seems like at Palace right now as it stands. But of course, there's a big question mark over Glasner and his future. And that could just easily twist. But I think in terms of finances, with Semenyo going, they might be able to offer him a bit more. So as you said, it might come down to ambitions. But for that price tag, would he be a starter? What do you expect? I mean, Eddie didn't come in and become a starter for £30 million. £35 million is a lot of money. And if he was going to be a starter, it would be for Ismaila Sarr down the right-hand side. Or
yeah,
how
but then
would he roll in this Palace side if he was to join us?
I mean, as it stands right now, yeah, straight, he goes into the right attacking position. But then, remember, I believe he can play as a striker and as a winger as well. So I don't even sit there and think to myself, okay, it's one of them situations where, oh, this automatically means player X is out of the team straight away.
Yeah.
Remember, if we are competing on, well, up until very recently, we were competing on 4 different fronts in terms of competitions. You need to rotate and you need quality rotation. If we're serious about progressing and moving up as a football club and making Europe a more consistent thing, and battling in the later parts of competitions going forward, you need rotation to select from. So I'm not against the idea of one plays 1 week or one falls off form, the other one comes into the squad. Pino's still settling into the team. Kamada's going to be out for a very long time, it looks like. Sar's going to be away with AFCON at least, for the next month, give or take. So automatically that puts him in the starting 11 straight away. And then Nketiah can worry about the striking positions, which I would like to see a bit more conversion rate with that as well. So you can play around with the team a little bit in terms of the attacking options anyway. And more importantly, as it stands with the way that we've got the fitness and injuries and absences of the team, Brennan Johnson walks into the squad right now as it stands.
Yeah. And also I think it for me anyways, personally, I know some other people see it differently, but I've always had a question mark with the 10 positions about who is our squad depth. Of course, you've got versatile players that can play in different positions, but with the 10s, I just felt like with depth, there were a lot of question marks before Uche started playing. But Uche seems like he's not a number 10 option. He's more of a number 9 option. So I think if Brennan Johnson were to join, that right-hand side is looking healthier. Right now, I don't think people realize, we're surviving and we're not in a bad position, especially with the league, but we're playing Justin Devaney as a right 10 with right wing back Nathaniel Klein. Respectfully, some championship clubs wouldn't have that. They wouldn't have that. And we're doing that whilst trying to compete with Oliver Glasner. So Brennan Johnson coming in solves me that exact problem on the right-hand side with the number 10 position. Easy. You ask me now.
Well, funny enough, you say that, D. You say that. But imagine now, in 2-3 weeks' time, that's Sacha Bowie and Brennan Johnson.
That's what I'm saying.
Instead of, you see what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, you got to do it. Like, sometimes you just got to do it.
You need to spend money. You need to spend money sometimes to get the quality. Like, you have to spend money. And I'm happy we'll see with the right wing-back position, but I'm happy seeing Ismail Assar and Brennan Johnson battling it out. Ismail Assar didn't have proper depth. Like, we've had option by having numbers there, but not by quality. And Brennan Johnson will be pushing him, and they'll be pushing each other. It's not a case of, Brennan Johnson comes in, Ismail Assar straight away drops to the bench. No, you battle it out. That's what good squad depth is. And that's why you ask the question marks. And that is what we're missing right now in the squad, quality depth. And you look at other teams, for example, I know not a massive fan of them, but Forest, they can rotate. They've got Omari Hutchison. They did go and strengthen in the summer. They spent a lot of money strengthening in the summer where they could rotate between players and the quality drop-off isn't as significant. Our quality drop-off from Sarr to not just Devaney, whether Eddie plays on the right or Devaney plays on the right, it is significant because they're not 10s. Let's just start there. They're not what
this is it.
We need. And Brennan Johnson solves that problem. So if that problem costs £35 million to solve, then go for it. As long as
you're on the money there. Look at all the Premier League years we relied on Wilfried Zaha. And when Wilfried Zaha was injured or Wilfried Zaha was unavailable, lights out. Like at one point, what was it? We couldn't win a game without him for, 3 years, 4 years, or whatever it was. This isn't the same Crystal Palace of old, bro. People want us to progress as a football club. This is what big clubs do. Or if you name the big clubs that are title challenging, obviously, yes, we're not in a title challenge, but when you are naming teams that are in Europe and in title charges, bro, they got 2 players for every position, sometimes 3. Like Man City are about to add Semenyo to their squad. To a squad that's already got 2, maybe 3 efficient wingers on both sides. Come on, man, you got to do it, man. Like, don't worry about the money, just let it happen. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Like we complain about not spending enough and not being as serious as a football club, but as someone who's been very critical of the board, if we're now looking at Brennan Johnson and Ismail Assar down the right hand side as a battle, rather than asking, is Uche a right 10? Is Esse a right 10? We're just like, there's levels to it. Like we're going from asking and hoping. I think not even asking, hoping. Can Esse come good? Well, Esse is still a young player. So is Brennan Johnson, but Brennan Johnson is only 24 years old. And despite that, he has done it for Tottenham. He's still scored in big games. And I don't think any Tottenham fan, you can go out there, even if Tottenham fans don't rate him on the ball in terms of dribbling, etc., they will always I don't think there's a Tottenham fan out there that will say he's not a clinical goal scorer, because he is that. So yeah, it might not be the full package for £35 million, and you may raise questions about that. You know, you might want to, but realistically, the full package is not going to cost £35 million. There's always going to be, especially in today's market, £35 million does sound a lot for us, and rightly so, because it is a lot of money. It's not cheap. However, in reality of today's market, it's not significant money. It's not like it's 60 or 70 million pounds. It's what the price is going for if you want a player that's done it in the Premier League. So yeah. But for Palace, the only question where I've spoke about a price tag is it falls down to whether this hinders our opportunities in terms of targeting other positions, which I assume it doesn't, because we won't be dumb enough to go ahead and do that. And if Oliver Glasner's happy, which we've been talking about, and he's been talking about, you know, not having enough squad depth and talking about SA not good enough, and then questions asked about Uche and this and that. But if he thinks Brennan Johnson can help and progress us as a football club in terms of depth, then, I mean, we can afford him and we can get other players, and he ticks the boxes. I don't know what the complaints about, but of course, he's not officially confirmed yet, so we'll see with that. But do you think, another question, do you think this could mean someone could be leaving a football club, whether that's on loan or on a permanent basis? Because I have mentioned Uche there. Uche will be staying till the end of the season at least. But Roman Esse, who is coming off the bench recently, no significant game time despite that. I think Shelbourne was the most he played, unless I'm forgetting a game. However, he came on as a right wing back against Tottenham, which is not his position. It just seemed like he's coming on with hope of doing something rather than, you know, actually having an impact. Do you think this could open the doors for maybe Roman Esse leaving on a loan move, which may help
possibly
him?
I think that, you know, as much as we want to give these opportunities and chances to players like Esse and Uche, big man, we're no longer the kind of football club that has time to wait on you. So it's Esse's decision, or more importantly, it's down to Esse to dig deep and figure out, all right, I'm going to stay here and fight for my place, which will then in turn make him a better player, which is to our benefit. Or maybe you do have to make that decision and go out on loan and maybe just perfect your craft at another level. There's nothing in this that these players don't win, you know, even with the Uche equation as well. If it turns out that, you know, Uche's been briefed and he needs to go and learn X, Y, and Z, or he needs to go and do X, Y, and Z, and he's not been able to produce that for us, or more importantly for the manager to see, and we do end up sending him back, then it is what it is at this point. I just think that you can't have both, or you can't have everything. You either want to boost the squad that has the skill and experience to be able to see and get us over the line, or you have to be a patient sort of side of things where you got to sit there and go, I'm willing to give these players time to develop, but that at what sacrifice? And from my understanding is the manager wants to progress and keep pushing us to another higher level. So if that looks like having to loan out or sell Esse, send Uche back, and then you bring in somebody like Brennan Johnson, who is proven at that level, because let's not forget he won a European trophy last year, and I'm pretty sure he scored the winner, did he not, in the final? Yeah. And then on top of that, obviously, with his goals that he's been able to replicate in the Premier League, then I'm all for it, man.
He scored in the Premier League last year. He scored 11 goals and got 3 assists. He scored 11 goals in the Premier League.
Imagine those 11 goals to us. You know what I mean? Add 11 goals to our attack right now.
Yeah. That's for that reason. That's why I'm not like, the price tag is a question mark, but I'm not like crazy over it. There must be a plan from the football club in terms of affording other players. There's, you know, Glasner has said that we need a couple of players, and if the first one is a player that scored 11 goals in the Premier League last year, I'm not against that. And also, don't know, the season before he had 10 assists and 5 goals in the Premier League in 35 games, so 15 GA in 35 games. Last season he had 14 GA in 33 games. So, you know, 14 goals and assists, 15 goals and assists in his last 2 seasons. And he hasn't played 38 games in that as well. it is not a bad return. It really is.
Yeah, let's not lie to ourselves and let's not lie to ourselves here and pretend that Brennan Johnson is a crap player, because he's not. It's because he's not got his name's not Brendan Johnsonio, or like, you don't come from like Inter or something like that. At the end of the day, bro, the brother's quality. Like, let's not get cute and lie to ourselves, and let's not be that. Like, he's not a shit player, bro. Like, he's got the numbers to back it. He's actually got a few accolades to back it. He's got the international experience to back it, and he's got the European experience to back it. The guy's quality. He probably cost £35 million for a reason. If he does end up picking the Palace shirt, I will back him like I would back any other Palace player, even.
Yeah, to put into context right now, and this is no like bad, I'm not meaning bad intention on SA. What? We spent £15 million on SA, right? And SA came from the championship, young player with high potential. Realistically, for those stats I've read, 15 GA, 14 GA in the last 2 seasons, you're not going to get a player for £15 million nowadays is a Roman Esse type of player, or 20, around 15, 20. It's that you're not going to get a proven player in the Premier League for that kind of price tag. And this is my thoughts about the main, the price tag and the fee involved. I just think 30 to 35, 30 onwards is what you get for a player that's played in the Premier League. That's just today's market. You're not, yes, you can go look at Elise's in the Championship, etc., but there isn't that many Elise's. If there was, then trust me, we would have been on it, and other clubs would have been on it. Yeah, you can dig deep, but right now, I don't think, and we actually spoke about this in a match reaction. Elise, when he joined us, he ended up being fantastic and great for us, but he wasn't ready. Well, he wasn't proven at the Premier League level, and I think Glasner right now, what he wants is players that are ready, rather than the project players that we've been going for. So I think that's what, this is what it takes as well. Someone who is not, he's not old. Don't get me wrong. He's only 24 years old, but Glasner doesn't have to bed him in. He doesn't have to get him ready for the Premier League. He is ready for the Premier League. So he's ready to go. He is ready to go. Let's go through some questions. As always, if you haven't already done so, hit the like button as well. We'll go through the comment section now, see your points. Whatever he doesn't have much competition. Maybe he'll show our midfielders where the goal is. But yeah, I'm going to put out a poll to see what the chat thinks as well in terms of Brennan Johnson. Yes or no, you can vote for it in the poll, which will be in the comment section, whether you are for the transfer or you're not for the transfer. But yeah, if you do have any questions as well, feel free to send them through, put a Q and a dot before it whilst I sort out the poll. If we did sign Brennan Johnson, AJ, what other positions do you think we need to get sorted?
Fullback cover, obviously more specifically right wing. I wouldn't say no to another striker, but I guess that depends how much money's left in the bag.
Yeah.
But ideally, right wing back cover would have to be instant. That would be the next on my list. And then after that, we'll just see who we can get. But then I guess that falls down to the question of how many positions are we ironing up in January. If it's 3 or 4, it has to be right. It has to be the attack, another right wing back, and possibly another form of attacker. I don't know, maybe number 10, number 9. But the right wing back is the next headache I'd like us to sort of potentially get resolved if possible.
Yeah. I think right wing back, yeah. If we solve that as well, then it'd just be nice to have someone apart from Kleiny in that position, because as Lou says, I think Lou puts it well. Kleiny, it feels like he's doing us a favor right now. I don't know what the expectations are from him in terms of being able to step in and perform at the levels that we need at his age, and he's never been a right wing back anyways. So yeah, we're asking a player that hasn't done that role to do that role. Oh, AJ's gone. I don't know what happened to him. He'll probably come back. But the poll is out in the comment section. The yes are winning so far, 86%. We've got 14% no. We'll see. We'll let it run for a few minutes and we'll go through some questions as well. As always, if you do have a question, I'll show an example as well. Just put a Q and a dot before it and then we'll go through it. AJ, I don't know what happened. I don't know what I asked you that scared you so much.
Yeah. Just ran that there.
You ran away. You ran away. All right, cool. Let's go through some questions before we wrap up. Sacha Bowie, when? The question is, would it be Sacha Bowie? He's been linked, but I don't think it's cut and dry that it is.
I'd take him. If it can happen, I'd take him. I think he's a brilliant player, but we'll see.
I think we're trying to solve the forward position more than anything right now. And you can get it with how this season has been going. Not even just this month, this season in general, with just missing chances and not having enough finishes in the team. So I think I think right wing back position, I think we're still working on it in the background, don't get me wrong. But I think it'll get solved hopefully after we bring in another forward. Has Bowie's reputation taken a hit in Germany? Asks Animal. I don't think it's taken a hit. I think he's had an injury, and also he's playing at Bayern Munich.
Yeah. I mean, are you a flop if you can't make it at Bayern Munich? Like, ask Chris Richards.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Bowie's been on our radar for years, it feels like. He was on our radar when he was at Galatasaray under Dougie Friedman. So the club have known about him. But, of course, that's going to be a big task, for Bowie to come in and push Munoz. But that would be incredible for depth. Imagine taking off Munoz and bringing on Sacha Bowie. As I said, with all due respect, ahead of Klein, that's an improvement. I'm just looking at improvements in the squad right now, and that would be an improvement to the squad depth. Not by numbers' sake, because, technically we got players that can play right wing back. However, by quality sake, and that's my stance on Brennan Johnson as well, because, yes, Devaney has played there, but I think Brennan Johnson will be better suited to that position than Devaney or Nketiah in that regards. Do you think Mateta's playing well enough to deserve £150,000 per week? That's a good question, because recently he hasn't been, in my opinion. However, if you look at how well he's played under Oliver Glasner, yes. But age also plays a part to this. He's not the youngest of players. So, I mean, how many years would he sign a new deal? He's going to be turning 29 next year. So he is in his prime. But what's your stance on it? I think I'm leaning towards yes more than no, because the striker market right now is dead. However, recently he has slowed down. But come on, look what he's done under Oliver Glasner. I think that in itself is pushing me to the yes more than no, because I think he's earned it.
Let's be honest, like, he's earned it, and I think even just, it's a bit weird to say, but almost as his identity, he's not a brand as such. Well, I guess in his own right he's a brand, but just his identity and his presence as a player and the way he kind of represents us, I think he's earned it. 150 grand a week for a Premier League striker nowadays. Yeah, I would give it to him. I'd give him 150 a week. But I want him to take the surgery. I think he needs the surgery, go and recover, go and strengthen and come back.
Yeah, I don't know if Glasner did say that his injury, well, when he spoke about it, it seemed like his injury is not as big as we made it out to be. Like, there's no risk of him aggravating his injury, and it's being managed well. So he kind of tried to take the pressure off the injury situation for his recent form. But yeah, he has played a lot of games. But yeah, I mean, would someone else pay that for him? Probably in the Premier League they would. Because
that's the thing as well. We could easily walk to another team, especially, well, I wouldn't even name a team in particular, but he could easily get that elsewhere. And I think, what's the average salary for a Premier League striker nowadays? It's probably under that, no? So, and I think he's earned it. I'm going to be honest. He's been through his ups and downs, but he has definitely, he's earned it for me. I would give it to him.
Yeah. Let me see if there's any other questions. If not, we're going to wrap up. The preview will be coming out tomorrow. The map player ratings is already out as well. Make sure to check it out. Yeah, I think that's it for now. If you have enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know in the comment section down below after the video ends your thoughts on this rumor. Will it happen? Will it not? Only time will tell. But it seems like if it was to happen, it could be in the next 48 hours or so, potentially. So let's see what happens. And until next time, up the Palace.